Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? What is up? What is up? What is up? Another extremely late night stream. Give me just 1 second. I'm just gonna double check that the stream's actually up and running. It is a super late night on a Tuesday night. Yeah, a very late night one. Salvage, what's up, bro? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Crawler, what's up, bro? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream, guys. Kanan, what's up? Welcome to the stream, everyone. How's the Real Retro? How you doing? How you guys all doing? It's 1:31 for you, Kanan. Well, it is a late night, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty quick on this one. Yeah, so today we're going to be power scaling Razer. How does the you said you got class in the morning, bro? Thanks for tuning in, DDK. So yeah, we'll make this one a quick one since it's late in the night. Tonight we're going to be power scaling Razer. How's the audio sound? Does the audio sound good? Can you guys hear me pretty well? Hopefully the audio sounds good. I was like messing with my mic a bit before this, so hopefully it all sounds good. But yeah, today we're going to be power scaling Razer. Okay, and if you guys have some comments and I don't get to them right away, don't feel bad. There's not too many slides on this one today, just a few power scaling points, and when I finish those up, we'll do a like tier list. And during the tier list portion, I'll be answering any comments that I missed, okay? So let's get into this power scaling. Okay, so Razer, just plain and simple, is an absolute mad lad. He was hand-selected by Jing to be one of the game masters for Greed Island, and his purpose was to fight Gon at full power because Jing's a crazy person. Okay, so a couple things. This is when Razer's first introduced, and he's set up as a powerhouse from the very moment we see him. So the first scene with Razer in it in the manga is him interacting with the Phantom Troupe, and how the Phantom Troupe reacts to him gives us a lot of, it gives us a good understanding that this guy is just built different. So the Phantom Troupe, before they go up and meet Razer, they're just clowning around being like the crazy like mad lads they usually are, and the Phantom Troupe members, especially people like Finks, are very arrogant by nature. They usually don't take things too seriously, but the moment they see Razer, they immediately stop clowning around and take him very seriously. The first thing Fink says is that this guy's tough. He stops the clowning around, and they're all just like standing in attention, listening to what this dude is saying. He immediately like commands respect from them. And when you look at Razer, this dude is more or less just straight up chilling. Okay, he's just straight up chilling, standing in front of the entire Phantom Troupe. He's really like not acting like he needs to run away from them. He's just cool and calm in this entire scenario. And then he starts giving us some details about who he is, and these details, he states, can be scaled up to like some pretty crazy levels. Okay, so first off, he states that he's a game master, and he's in charge of making most of the spells in the game work. And he's in charge of the emissive systems. So we don't get really a deeper explanation than that. Like we don't get spelled out word for word, like how are you making the spells in this game work? We aren't really told that. So it's kind of left open to interpretation. But some of the spells we see that are like emissive based are the accompany spells. The accompany spell, it's pretty much like the fast travel mechanic of Greed Island, where you can use it to just more or less teleport or just fast travel to a location that's, they have long range ones and close range ones. But that's not too important. The more important thing is that these are low ranking cards. They're F rank cards, meaning they're easily accessible. They're so easily accessible that you can just go and buy them at the store. And this implies that a lot of people throughout the game have accompany cards and are using them. And this is an emissive type spell. It's like projectiling people to these locations. And this isn't the only spell that Razer is in charge of. He's in charge of most of the spells. So the highball interpretation of this is that these spells are powered by his aura itself. Like Razer's Nen is powering all, like most of the spells in the game. And despite this, he's still strong enough to pull off insane, crazy strength feats all throughout Greed Island. And even more than that, he literally never runs out of Nen a single time throughout the entire Greed Island arc. You actually get a good like gauge of reference to how much aura he has compared to Greed Island Gone. Greed Island Gone throws 3 rock attacks during the Dodgeball battle and runs out of Nen and passes out. Like that's what happens when you use up all your aura, you just pass out. That happened when Gone fights Razer, and it happens when Gone fights Knuckle as well. Like also that's a little bit of extra information about how Gone's getting stronger from arc to arc, because against Razer he uses 3 rocks and passes out, but against Knuckle I believe he uses 4 John Ken attacks and then passes out. I might be wrong on the Knuckle one, but I believe he used 4. But anyways, Gone uses 3 rock attacks and passes out while fighting Razer. Meanwhile, there's a real possibility that Razer's powering the entire game, fights Gone, Bisky, Hisoka, and Killua all together by himself, and throws spikes and multiple throws powerful enough to kill like characters like Gon and Killua. He's doing all of this back to back while fighting all of them by himself and powering like multiple spells in the game, and never runs out of aura. He still like his aura lasts longer than Gon's even after all of that. But another thing worth pointing out is like the difference in how the Phantom Troupe respond to Razer versus how they responded to Zazan. So Zazan is a powerful squadron leader with defense so insane that when Phaeton hit Zazan with Ko, that's putting all your Nen into one attack, it just broke off of Zazan's back and did 0 damage. Despite Zazan being like this super powerful character, the Phantom Troupe still just stays like within their normal like jovial state. They don't really care. Like they're seeing this fight happen before their eyes, and most of them are just straight up chilling. They're not really taking Zazan that seriously, and they're more just talking like they're more treating Zazan like a game. They're like, all right, who goes next? Who's gonna fight Zazan next? It's it should be noted they do say that Zazan's tough as well. Now, from this manga translation, you can't really tell which Phantom Troupe member is the one saying it. It could be any of these guys right here. But at least one Phantom Troupe member acknowledges that Zazan's tough, but like as a whole unit, they don't really care too much. Like they're more treating Zazan like a game. Meanwhile, like when they saw Razer, like they all immediately give Razer some like due respect. Another thing that's worth mentioning is Razer he openly invites them to fight him again. So like he tells them that if you come back to Greed Island the proper way, like without trying to take shortcuts the way you guys just did, then you can fight me. Like all of you can fight me. And if you fight me, you can win a special item. So it's like he's kind of giving like all of these Phantom Troupe members an open invitation to come back and throw hands with him, and he's not showing any fear of any kind. Now, like just being confident is not enough to say that you're stronger than the people you're like talking trash to in Hunter x Hunter, but it implies that Razer on his own, even while suppressed like by powering multiple spells in the game, is still confident that he can at least hold his own against fighting multiple Phantom Troupe members at the same time. Now, mind you, the Phantom Troupe members he sees, they're not all that strong. Like, it's really the only real threat here would be like Phaeton, Finks, Franklin. We don't really know like how high he scales, and I guess Shalnark, if he uses his Super Saiyan form, is kind of dangerous. But to be fair, he does have one-shot abilities with his Manipulator Needle. So, I mean, I don't really want to lowball any of them, but Bono Lenov isn't here, Chrollo isn't here, Hisoka isn't here. So it's not like the full power Phantom Troupe, but it's still impressive that a suppressed Razer, a potentially massively suppressed Razer, is still confident he can fight all of these guys and hold his own. Okay. Oh yeah, and then here's just like the accompany, just here's the card and here's people using it. Okay. And then after they leave, he has some dialogue by himself. Like after he sends the Phantom Troupe away with his Game Master card, he just says that was some group. He doesn't say anything like, man, they would cook me, or he's not saying like, man, I need to get extra help to fight them. He's not really saying anything like that. He just acknowledges that they were an impressive group, but he's not really like showing fear towards them. And then he just one-shots the boat that they came there on. Okay, and then this attack here is one of his Hatsu abilities. He has at least 2 confirmed Hatsu abilities. It's this one and then his 14 Devils. And his 14 Devils are very powerful, and we'll get to that in a moment. But it should be noted that his spikes are bare minimum, like relative to Gon's rock ability. Based off of like the feats he displayed in the Dodgeball game, even his like normal throws might be relative to Gon's rock ability, and his spike is even stronger than that. Another thing is like these spikes like that he makes out of raw aura might actually be a little bit stronger than like the ones that he was doing in the game, because in the game he was hitting people with a dodgeball rather than hitting you with like a ball of actual raw aura itself. But that's debatable because Razer himself says like there's this scene where Razer kills one of his like team members, and he kills him with a like this exact attack right here. He just creates like a Nen ball and throws it at his head, and the dude just like explodes. And Razer right after that says like in the Dodgeball game, this Dodgeball will have as much force as that attack. So like based off of Razer, like these things are the same strength as the Dodgeball game throws and stuff. But we'll get into that a little bit more in a few more slides here. So now this right here is actually a very interesting translation from Viz, and to be honest, it might be a mistranslation if I'm being completely honest with you. But I have this translation here, and then I have another translation here, and we'll talk about both. But this one translation here is when Tezgera, I struggle with saying this dude's name. It's like Tezgera, something like that. He's a single star hunter, decently powerful guy, but Gon and Killua both surpass him like throughout Greed Island. Like before Greed Island, he was stronger than Gon and Killua, and then by the Dodgeball game, he straight up says like Gon and Killua have surpassed him in like raw stats, but he's still like a little bit more experienced. Well, he's considerably more experienced. It's just Gon and Killua are stronger than he is now. But anyways, one of the things Tezgera says is that Razer clearly has more aura than anyone else. There's no mistake, he's a game master. So, I mean, if you're highballing this statement, it could mean that he has more aura than anyone else in the whole room, including Hisoka and Bisky. But the other translation, I think this one is a much more accurate representation of what it's supposed to say. It said he's clearly the only one of these guys who has a strong aura. And then he goes on to say there's no doubt about it, he's a game master, right? So this translation makes a little bit more sense to me, where he's saying that Razer has the most aura out of all the enemies that they are facing right now. But I guess both translations are there, so they're up for debate. But I think this one you're supposed to use like the context clues around you, and he's saying, okay, he has more aura than anyone else, and he's comparing him to like these like pathetic wimps around him. Okay, now here we get to see Razer's Hatsu ability, his other Hatsu ability other than his like emitter attack, and this is his 14 Devils ability. Okay, I'm about to get into scaling this. Let me just see if I missed any comments. Oh, I missed a good amount. Anime Monarch said, is that a Yu-Gi-Oh card? No, that was just that was the accompany card from the Greed Island video game, like within the story. Okay, but yeah, I'll continue with the scaling, and then when I get to the tier list portion, then I will read through the comments, just so I don't like lose my train of thought. But thank you everybody for commenting, and welcome to the stream everybody that I didn't welcome earlier. But anyway, this is Razer's 14 Devils ability. So something that's very interesting is throughout the entirety of Greed Island, there's a real possibility that Razer never even went full power, even during the Dodgeball game, because it's stated that he has 14 Devils. But if you count what he actually used in the game, he used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He only used 7. Legit, this man might have only used half of his power, like, in the entire Dodgeball game. And then these Devils have crazy feats throughout the Dodgeball game that we'll get into. Like, they all have varying sizes, and it's implied, like, the bigger that the Devil is, the stronger it is. But even the smaller ones, like this number 5, has some crazy feats, and it's one of the smaller ones. So, let's continue. Okay, so one thing that he's able to do with these Devils is he can do a combo attack with them where he like spreads them out across the field and they just like exchange volleys with one another, and they're throwing the ball at such a high speed that Tesgera could not even keep up with it with his eyes anymore, but these Devils can. So like, one thing, this implies like just an individual Devil might be stronger than Tesgera already. The other thing is these guys throw the ball at Tesgera, and Tesgera can't see it. And one of Tesgera's teammates says the ball is going to hit you in the back, bro. Like, look behind you. And because of that warning, Tesgera protects his back with like Nen protection. And Razer has a line of dialogue saying if they didn't warn him, that attack would have killed him. So. And then the other thing is like Tesgera is out of the match. Like the rest of the Dodgeball match, Tesgera's just sitting on the sidelines like hurt. So what that shows is like these Devils are strong enough to like one-shot Tesgera, bro. Like they're strong enough to one-shot Tesgera, and he can make 14 of these things. And Tesgera's a single star, like decently powerful hunter. Okay, he's weaker than Gon and Killua though. Like at this point, but he's decently strong. He was stronger than Phantom Troupe Arc, Gon, and Killua, for example. Anyways, then we see that they can merge together. Now, like if you look at this scene right here, he went from having a total of 7 clones to now he only has 2. But in complete honesty, I don't remember if 1 or 2 of them got eliminated before the merging scene. So I don't know the exact number of how many merged into 1. But this number 13 on his chest, I believe that's the total sum of like the numbers on their faces added together. So like if you see it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like he merged some of them together and the sum equaled up to 13. So if he didn't lose any team members at this point, then that means he merged, let me see, I think that means he merged 5 or 6. Because he had 7, right? So yeah, if he merged 6, then he would have... No, that would mean he merged 5 into 1. And then you have this guy. 5 or 6. I don't know. I'm pretty tired, guys. Sorry. But at most, he merged around 5 or 6. Or at the lowest, he merged like 2 or 3. Okay? But the big thing to keep in mind is like he has the ability to merge them together to make them even stronger than they already were when they were one-shotting Tesgera. And this one, it became so strong that it caught the ball from Hisoka, and Hisoka himself states this one is strong. Then we see Razer's throw, like Razer throwing it instead of these guys throwing it. And it's so powerful that like Tesgera's like, bro, don't even try to catch this or you're going to straight up die. And as powerful as these throws are, Razer's spikes are even stronger. Now, here's something that's really interesting, okay? This scene is crazy. So like when Razer throws this ball, he throws this ball and Killua dodges it. But here's what you need to pay attention to. Killua himself says, I can't catch this. I have to dodge it. Okay? And right after this, Gon says, like, if you dodged the wrong direction, that throw would have killed you. The reason why that's crazy, Killua can't catch this. As strong as Killua is, he can't catch it. But this number 5 guy catches it no problem. This dude catches it like it's nothing and then throws it at Hisoka. this same ball, Killua, like that Gon and Killua are both like, yo, if that hit you, Killua, that was gonna kill you. And Killua himself says he can't catch it. It veers to the right, and this dude catches it like nothing. The same attack that would have killed Killua, this number 5 tiny little demon catches it like nothing and throws it at Hisoka. Like, this implies, bro, that this little one, like, he's right here, number 5. Just him might be stronger than Killua. Just the number 5 devil might be stronger than Killua by himself. And Razer can make 14 of these things. He only used 7 the entire fight. One of them he was literally using as a referee. So, I mean, all of this, and mind you, like, he literally might be powering, like, most of the spells in the game at the same time. Okay? Then we see Razer is able to smoothly, like, bump back Gon's rock-propelled volleyball, like the volleyball propelled by the power of Gon's rock. Razor's able to, like, intercept it, bump it, dispel all the power from the attack, and then land smoothly on his feet. This is in stark contrast to what happened to Gon when Gon tried to just catch Razor's throw, like, not even Razor's spike, Razor's throw, while he has his other demons on the field, so he's not even at full power yet. His throw, Gon stood there and tried to catch it using Ko, and Gon stopped the ball and it went straight into the air, but Gon went flying back and, like, smashed into a wall. Meanwhile, Razer had the precision and strength of his Nen to smoothly reflect Gon's rock attack and then land, like, smoothly on his feet without taking any damage at all. And, like, this was so impressive that Bisky, someone who's ranked as an ultimate level manipulator, like, she's ultimate tier in her own Nen category, she says, like, dude, that was seriously impressive. Okay? And another thing, so, like, there's a lot of different ways you could scale this, but something to really think about is, like, here, like, let me just go with, like, the highball interpretation first. One way you could view this is that this volleyball itself is as strong as Gon's rock. And Razer is able to reflect these things, like stop the power of Gon's rock, like match it, without using a named attack of his own. Like, without using his own Hatsu. Razer just can stop it. Meanwhile, a lot of the strong characters in the verse cannot do that. Like, if Gon hits them with rock, they just die or are knocked out immediately. Like, a few chapters later, Gon one-shots Genthru with this thing, and Genthru was cracked. There's actually one panel in the manga, I don't even know if it's in the anime, but in the manga, at the end of Greed Island, the ultimate level Nen Exorcist looks at Gon and Killua after they've beaten Greed Island, and he's like, yeah, I can tell these kids have gotten a lot stronger, but they're still clearly weaker than Genthru. The only way they could have beaten him was with a plan. Despite this, Gon is able to one-shot Genthru with rock, but if you view these volleyballs, rock-propelled volleyballs equal to rock, Razor's handling those attacks no problem. The same thing that one-shot Genthru, he's handling it no problem. Okay. Now, here's where you get to see, like, quote-unquote full-power Razer. Okay? Because, mind you, he might still be massively nerfed by powering, like, most of the spells in the game while he does all of this. But here's where he starts to get really crazy. He absorbs all of the conjured devils back into his own body, and they all add to his own aura. And Hisoka looks at this and says, now we'll see his true power. Like, all their aura went back into him and made Razer even stronger than he was before. Then Razer uses his spike. There's another panel where Razer's like, I didn't expect to need to use this. And he's like, I haven't... He has another line where he says something like, he's just, like, hyped about it. But he's pretty much saying, like, he didn't think he'd even need to use the spike, like, to defeat these guys. But it's just to show you that this spike is stronger than all the throws he did prior, even though the throws were, like, strong enough to one-shot kill people as strong as Gon and Killua already. And this attack was so powerful that Gon, Killua, and Hisoka all teamed up to stop it. There's a lot of different ways you could scale this, but, like, really, it's a cool, I mean, as weird as like the pose is, it's a cool scene because it's like Gon, Hisoka, and Killua are all impressive in their own way. And according to Razer, like the most impressive one was Killua, because like Killua needs extremely precise Nen control to be able to be the perfect cushion in between Gon and Hisoka. Like Hisoka's slowing the ball down and making it sticky, so that like it doesn't fly out of Gon's hands. Gon's putting all of his aura into Ko, and that requires like immense bravery because like the rest of his body's defenseless, and Gon like needs to be strong enough to stop the ball, which they didn't even know if he was, but he did. And then Killua was like the brace in between. But like the most challenging part of it all, according to Razer, was actually Killua, because I believe he said the margin of error was like less than 1%, and Bisky has a line of dialogue where she's like, even Bisky herself couldn't do something that precise until her late 20s. Meanwhile, Killua has like at most a year of Nen experience, and made up for like a gap of decades. Like Killua was missing decades worth of required experience and just made up for it all with pure talent. So it's like, it's just another one of the many examples of Killua being a super genius. Okay, now here's another really cool scene. This is the last rock in the fight, and Gon pours so much aura into it that Razer calls Gon a monster, and like right after this rock, Gon passes out, so he's using like all of his aura, all of his remaining aura in this one attack. Now here's something that's very interesting. Even though this is his strongest rock yet, and Razer acknowledges that this makes Gon a monster, Razer still straight up says, hey, well, I can still catch it. Like Razer could still catch the ball on his own. So the reason this is crazy is because we just saw what they all had to do to just stop Razer's spike. And it's debatable about which one is stronger, like Razor's spike or Gon's full power rock. They seem relative to one another. And I would need to read chapter 168 again to see if there's any dialogue where any of the side characters say, oh, it's just as strong as Razor's spike, because that might be in there. Legit, that might be in there. I'd have to read it again to be completely honest with you guys. But for right now, we can just say they're relative to one another. Despite that, Razor's so strong that he can still just catch the attack. But he just chooses not to, like, out of pride. And it's like Jing hired him to like push Gon anyway. And then what he does right after this, he straight up rebounds it and sends it flying back at Gon. He still has enough power to do all of that with just straight up unnamed attacks. Like he's matching this crazy Hatsu that one-shots people way stronger than Gon, and Razor's just matching it with unnamed attacks. Like Razor's cracked. And at the end of all of this, Razer, like, he doesn't, like, Gon passes out, but Razer does not. So his aura reserves are insane. Like, we saw Gon could throw 3 rocks and pass out, but we have no idea, like, how many more spikes Razer would have been able to do. And after this, like, Hisoka propels the ball back at him, and Razor's like, yo, I'm down to just exchange volleys. So like maybe Razer could have just kept going for a long time. Basically, like, Razor's just built fundamentally different. What's up, Bromus? Welcome to the stream, bro. But yeah, Razor's just built super different. Another thing worth mentioning is Razer in the past fought Jing and didn't die, which is like a feat in and of itself because Jing's a top 5 Nen user. We don't know if Jing was a top 5 Nen user when Razer fought him, but Razer states that Jing caught him and put him in jail. We don't even know like why Jing caught him in the first place. It could have been like a mission Jing was assigned, or maybe Jing just like stumbled into him like on his journeys. Or maybe Jing like heard his reputation and hunted him down. We don't know. And we don't even know if Jing was like trying to kill him and he just survived anyway. Or if Jing was like holding back massively. Like there's so many unknowns in that. But it is a reality that he fought Jing and did not die. So that's kind of something. Now, the last couple things I wanted to talk about is just like Greed Island itself is kind of weird. and I wanted to open it up to discussion for like what you guys think Greed Island actually is, like how it actually functions, because we see here that Jing made this game with 11 of his friends, and like each of their names represents one of the initials in Greed Island, with Jing being like the G in Greed Island, Razer being the R, and like all these other guys' names like represent one of the letters in Greed Island. But we don't really know like what it means by like they made the game. We don't fully know. Like, are they all powering it with their Nen? How does it really work? Another thing is like Greed Island itself. It's a place within the real world. Like the Phantom Troupe proved that they found a way to get there by like using a boat. They didn't enter like the normal method through like the game teleportation system. So it's someplace in the real world, but Razer says that it's isolated from the outside world. We don't even know where this joint is. Well, actually, to be fair, if I went back and analyzed like all the Phantom Troupe's dialogue for like how they found it, they might give information on where it is. So, but we don't really know exactly like how Greed Island works. Like, why does he say they're isolated from the outside world? Does it just mean like they're on an island, like an actual island that's just really far away from the rest of society? Or like, do they put some kind of Nen barrier on it so it's hidden from maps? There's mystery around Greed Island is basically what I'm trying to say. And like, we don't fully understand like how these guys are even powering it. So that's like open for discussion. Do you guys think like all of these guys are funneling their Nen into making Greed Island work? Even Jing? So like, does that mean Jing is constantly nerfed too? Another thing is like, we saw back here, that Razer, like he absorbed all of these, like all of his Nen devils back into himself and it made him stronger. Could he do that with the cards? Could he just absorb the cards that he's powering back into himself too? Or are they just like powered by like technology or something? There's a few mysteries. And let me know what you guys think too. And finally, there's just a Yusuke Easter egg. So like, if you've read Togashi's like manga before Hunter x Hunter, it's Yu Yu Hakusho, and the main character is Yusuke. He's pretty much just young Jing. Like anytime Togashi draws young Jing, he literally just draws Yusuke, which is pretty cool. And he like constantly has him do like spirit gun type poses. But that is pretty much everything I wanted to cover for how strong Razer is. And I wanted to get into this tier list. I already made like just a very simple one for today. Like a very simple tier list for today. We just have medium high tier characters and then we have high tier characters. If I added Gon to this, I would put Gon right here. This is like end of Chimera Ant. I would put Gon like after Shoot. And I'm basing this on like how powerful they are as overall Nen users. You really could make an argument that Shoot technically would be an overall more powerful Nen user than Killua just due to having more experience in Nen battles, but it's like, just to be honest, I don't know how Shoot would be able to survive Godspeed. Don't really know how he'd be able to do it. He might be able to just gap him in aura reserves though and just like tank his way through it. I guess Killua versus Shoot rematch would be up for debate. But I would say like Shoot versus base Killua, Shoot is stronger, but it's like Godspeed is a challenge for him. But this is debatable stuff. Like you could have it like this, or you could have it like this. Oops, not above Nov. He could be like, any of these three are kind of interchangeable, but I do think Knuckle is always a little bit stronger than Shoot, based off of like Shoot's own dialogue when he was talking to Knuckle. Well, like there's this scene in Chimera Ant arc where like as Shoot is going through his breakthrough moment and evolving as a hunter, he says like he's always viewed Knuckle and Morel's advice as the advice of the strong. You could interpret that as him just viewing them as strong-willed, or that him just viewing them as stronger than he is. But also, to be completely honest, Knuckles' Hatsu is just better than his. Like, it's just much more hacks-based. Like, has much stronger hacks. Okay? But, anyways, if I was going to take Razer and put him on this list, I'd put him right here. I think, overall, he's stronger than Morel is, and very relative to Kite. It's debatable, he might even be stronger than Kite, but the reason I'm putting Kite over Razer is because, like, Kite was trained by Jing directly. Meanwhile, Razer just like got whooped by Jing once for all we know. But I mean, it's debatable. Razer really could be stronger than Kite too. We don't really know. And honestly, like, Morel definitely could have some ways to defeat Razer. Like, if he traps him in Smoky Jail, he might be able to find some way to, like, trick defeat Razer somehow with, like, big brain intelligence mode. But, like, Razer's just a powerhouse type dude, has crazy aura reserves. And each of his spikes are, like, as strong as Gon's Rock. Even, like, it seems like even his normal, like, not even using his Hatsu, he seems relative to Gon's Rock. And Gon's Rock is still one-shotting, like, a lot of powerful hunters. We see, like, not even soon after this, at the start of Chimera Antark, Gon hits Knuckle in the stomach with Rock, while Knuckle, like, this is Gon who's exhausted. Gon exhausted after training, like, all day with Bisky. Knuckles meets Gon and Killua for the first time and is like insulted that they're kids, and he's like, dude, just hit me one time, like, as hard as you can, it's not gonna do squat. And Gon hits Knuckle with Rock while Knuckle protects himself with Ko, and it just one shot KOs him. Yet Razor's like reflecting these same attacks like it's not a big deal. But yeah, that's about what I have for this stuff. And next, I would go over and look at the community poll. I did a poll over Razer versus Morel. But before I do that, let me look at the comments. Any questions on anything I said today, guys, or anything you guys disagree with? And sorry that this one's more quick. Yeah, I should have done this earlier in the day. I'm just super sleepy. Anything you guys disagree with or anything like that? I'm just looking through comments. Galgox, what's up, bro? Galgox said Jing def not. That's why he wanted Razer to do it. Yeah, that was probably like in response to something I had said earlier. Broma said Shoot stronger than Knuckle, more combat effective Hatsu. Shoot has ways he could defeat Knuckle for sure. And I mean, he was able to hold his own against Yuppie 1v1 for a while. So yeah, he definitely has ways he could beat Knuckle. It's just Knuckles' Hatsu is really cracked. Like, when he fights normal people, like people who are not Royal Guards, they go bankrupt really fast. Like, against Gon, I think it took like less than 3 minutes. I think it was like 2.5 minutes of fighting Gon, and Gon went bankrupt that fast. And I think if Knuckles hitting you, it starts going even faster. So, like, if he were to fight someone like Killua would also go bankrupt in around like 3 minutes. Shoot probably has more aura than Killua, but less aura than Morel, so maybe it would take like 3.5 or 4 minutes. We don't really know exactly. But it's still pretty quick. And like the longest it took was with Yuppie, who had 10 times as much aura as Morel, and it took 10 minutes. Like, his Hatsu is cracked. And not only does it put you in Zetsu, it puts you in Zetsu for a month. Like, that is actually truly broken. DDK said, where do you think current Hanzo would be? To be honest, current Hanzo, I wouldn't be able to give a good scale on him. I need to study his powers more. He has a few, like, unique Hatsu abilities, doesn't he? Like, he has, like, kind of like a an astral projection type Hatsu ability, something crazy like that. One thing I know is, like, in the beginning of the the first arc of Hunter x Hunter, the Hunter exams, he was stated to have potential relative to Gon, at least in terms of being a hunter. And if you think about it, he was super cracked. Like, he was stronger than Killua was without Nen. And he's not that much older than Gon and Killua. He's like 6 years older than them. So, like, Gon and Killua are 14 right now. He's 20. They've both known Nen for about the same amount of time. He should be extremely strong, but we haven't really seen much from him to be able to tell. He's an employee for Kurapika, so he might be weaker than Kurapika, but, like, Bisky is also an employee for Kurapika now, and so is Kurapika's own old Nen master. So, I mean, I don't know. There's debates for exactly how strong Kurapika is now, but, like, Kurapika is a super genius himself, and Like, the reason Kurapika is so strong is because he risks his life and his future, like, pursuing strength as fast as possible. Meanwhile, like, Gon and Killua are just super geniuses, so, like, them just training, they grow at, like, extremely fast rates. Kurapika is, like, risking his life with every Hatsu ability, shaving, like, years off his life to get stronger. Like, it's not normal, the stuff Kurapika does. But it does make him super strong, super fast. Let me scroll through more comments here. Crawler says Morel's brain is the size of Greed Island. Bromis said most fights don't really take three plus minutes. Yeah, that might be true too. K Dizzy says Kurapika's stronger than Gon and Killua at the same time. I don't know. Especially if, like, Gon... Well, not if Gon has access to his adult form, then he one-shots, but, like... Kurapika is a monster. I don't know. That would be tough for even for Kurapika, though. Like, end of Chimera Antark, Gon and Killua, because they have, like... Like, when Gon and Killua work together, they have some nasty combos. Like, they can kind of make up for each other's weaknesses, because, like, Killua has really high-tier speed, and Gon has really high-tier power. Like, one of their most broken combos is, like, if Killua hits them with a lightning bolt and then Gon just full charge cracks them with a rock. They can beat a lot of people like that. Let's see what else is there. Bromis said, the moment Shoot even touches Killua, Whirlwind is ineffective. He uses Whirlwind by sensing aura, and areas taken away by Hotel Rafflesia can't sense anything. That might be true. That actually might be a counter to Godspeed. And if, like, Shoot could manage to take Killua's feet away, I wonder if he'd still be able to, like, run and stuff. I wonder what would happen. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the interesting things about Nen battles. It's, like, it's interesting to see how abilities match up with each other. And, like, Nen battle experience matters a lot. There's that, like, when I was reading the manga, like, making this live stream, one of the things I saw was a really interesting piece of dialogue from Tezgera. Tezgera, after he gets hit by, like, a dodgeball from Razer, he's like, dude, I've gotten rusty because all I've done is fought people weaker than myself. Like, I only fought people that I knew I could beat. That's why I'm rusty. That's why I'm, like, not that good anymore, and that's why these kids have surpassed me. And it's an interesting piece of dialogue because, like, Killua all the way up until Chimera Antark, that's all he was doing was, like, only fighting people he knew he could beat. And his whole life was that, actually. So it's an interesting piece of dialogue how, like, fighting people weaker than you is, like, not necessarily the best thing to do as a hunter. And, like, Bisky and Morel both, like, scold Killua for that, but Killua gets a lot stronger in the Chimera Antark because he stops acting like an assassin and starts to be a real hunter. Like, so that's part of why Killua grows a lot. There's actually some really cool parallels in Chimera Antark where, like, Gon and Killua are both working on their own individual weaknesses, and it's, like, subtle things Togashi writes, but if you pay really close attention, you notice, like, Gon and Killua evolve to, like, make up for their weaknesses. Like, Gon's weakness was like the slow charge up of John Ken and how he's vulnerable when he charges John Ken. And then, like, a few chapters later, we see Gon learned how to charge John Ken while running and dodging at the same time. Like, to make up for that weakness. And he has, like, the John Ken feints that they went into specific detail about, but, like, he actually, like, worked on that off screen. And it's similar to, if you read the manga, they give you, like, more details on, like, Gon and Killua's powers. Like, during Greed Island, they show Gon training scissors, and they show Gon in detail training paper, like, in more detail than they did in the anime. Because, like, in the manga for Greed Island, Gon uses scissors, and he, like, can barely cut a leaf with it. And he tells Killua that, like, he can only successfully cut things 1 out of every 10 tries. And then when we see him the next arc in Chimera Antark, he's gotten so much better with scissors that he just chops a Chimera Ant in half. It's a similar thing like that. Like, he goes from still needing to stand still to charge rock to being able to charge rock while running and dodging. It's like a cool parallel in the manga. And then Killua overcomes his weakness of like fighting like an assassin by ripping the Nen needle out of his head. Wait, someone said read my comment. Lee Charlotte Katakuri. Where is it? Let me scroll up. You said, I think when Razer was talking to the fodders, he meant the result would be the same even with normal ball. He isn't an enhancer. I don't think an enhanced ball can be as strong as his aura ball. That might be true too. That might be true too. Salve says, Adult Gone Paper Hatsu would probably be insane. Yeah, dude, it'd be like a Kamehameha. Like, I made like a short on it, like how strong it would be. If you highball it, it would be just 20% weaker than Rock, because like Rock is his 100% category enhancer and emitter is his 80%. Adult Gone's paper would be 20% weaker than Rock at like the highest highball interpretation. Or if it still has the same multiplier that Kid Gone's paper had, it would be about as strong as Adult Gone's normal punch. And Adult Gone's normal punch was already so strong it was like one-shotting Pito. So basically it would be like a Kamehameha. Anyways, let me go ahead over to this community poll. Let me refresh this. How long ago did I even put this up? I don't even know. I don't even know, guys. Put it up 2 hours ago. Okay. And yeah, Razer won this one pretty overwhelmingly. I genuinely thought that, to be honest, like when I put this up, I said to myself, you know, Morel's going to win this poll. I just thought Morel would win just because, like, he's a cool character. But, nope, Razer won the poll so far. Oh, Bromus, let's read your comment, bro. You said, Razer and it isn't close. People will say I'm a Morel hater, but bro is just not built for combat. He himself states this. Everyone always takes his statement that Nen combat isn't about how much aura a person has, paraphrasing out of context. He's not saying that aura, power, output stats, and any of those things don't matter. He's literally just saying that Nen combat is multifaceted. He's not saying IQ greater than everything else. I agree with that. Okay, and then we'll read this. He said, Razer has the range advantage. His Nen beasts are much stronger than Deep Purple clones. I agree with that too. A single hit from him would kill Morel if a fraction of his power can break Hisoka's fingers. That's a good point. He's got better stats, being closer in enhancement proficiency by 20%. That's a good point. With relative, if not outright greater aura. Let's see. And 1v6ing the cast, which had 2 Nen Masters on the team. That's a good point too. All Morel has is versatility. That won't help him here. The clones don't deal damage if Gon's Rock can be deflected by Razer while taking 0 damage. These are great points. Smoky Jail requires Morel enter with his opponent. Otherwise, he'd have no reason to enter with Poof. That's a good point too. Chain Smoke is entirely useless here. So is his ability to change his appearance with his smoke. Literally, all it is just a matter of how long Morel is going to hide from Razer, because he literally can't beat him. That's a very good point, man. And Galgog said Razer because he's stronger than Hisoka before postmortem Nen while being nerfed. I would say that's debatable. I still think Hisoka would beat Razer, but like, it's definitely debatable. Like, Razer might be like physically stronger, but I don't know. That's definitely up for debate. I might even do that as a poll. Hisoka versus Razer. But Galgox could be right, to be honest. Jotaro said, if it comes to who is stronger physically, it's Razer. If it comes to ability, if they fight, I would probably vote Morel. That's a good point too. Demi-sama says, Morel says it himself that he's not that strong, but instead a very good support combat person. This one's short. I'll read that. Mr. Man said, I think a full power rock by Greed Island Gone is severely damaging Morel, while Razer was able to withstand that force. Very true. Razer is clearly physically superior and has shown to be great with strategy during the volleyball game. I think Razer gets this, but don't sleep on my boy Morel. He's him. Truth. And Zoret Talks says the GOAT Morel. Nice. All right, guys. Those were some pretty good comments. And bro, I am super duper sleepy. It is late on a Tuesday night. Super late. For some people, I think it's 3 a.m. Dang. Anything you guys want me to cover before we head out tonight? Bro, before this live stream, before this live stream, I was working on a video with Restless Gambler. It's a Hunter x Hunter versus Jujutsu Kaisen video, and like I was working on that, and I like wrote that out, recorded it, and sent it to him. So if you guys are subbed to Restless Gambler, like in the next few days, we're gonna have a collab video over there where it's Gon and Killua versus some strong characters in Jujutsu Kaisen. So look forward to that. And my next like big video is not going to be that big. I'm all of my like full length videos now are going to be like about 8 to 10 minutes. It'll be out in a few days. The Kurapika versus Fourth Prince one. I learned like a few things from Restless on how to get videos out faster. So like now what I'm trying to do, I think I said it on the last live stream too, but like now I'm trying to live stream like 4 or 5 days a week and post like one video a week and then turn that into shorts too. So I just want to have like much more content out, especially since I was gone for like a month straight, like just doing midterms. K Dizzy said Leorio versus Nobunaga. A nice matchup. I like that one. Salve said, what's the next Hunter x Hunter stream gonna be? Yeah, the next video is gonna be Kurapika versus the Fourth Prince. The next stream, like tomorrow's stream, I might do an Invincible stream because I want to talk about like the Invincible season. Also, I've been playing Street Fighter 6. Those streams, like I post those as streams and then save them to members only. Like all of my video game streams, I save to members only. And the main reason I do that is just because like YouTube, like it's not good for your algorithm if you just post something completely different than your normal material and just leave it there. So like if I just leave gaming videos up, it's like not too good for my channel. But if I put them to members only, then it's great because like the members have something like exclusive to them and like we just yap on there. If you ever want to be in like a gaming live stream, like a chance to be in one of those, I do have a group Discord now, and in there that's like where I talk to a bunch of guys about like power scaling stuff and like debates and stuff. And if people want to be in like the gaming live streams, we like talk about like what games we could play, and then if I'm streaming at that time, they can just hop in. So yeah, that's what I do over there. And like one of my friends, his name's Lenny, he was in one of my old streams before. Me and him are like both playing Street Fighter. I just hit platinum rank. It's not that high, but my goal is like to get to master rank and make that a series, like a members only series where it's just like me and my friend like getting better at Street Fighter slowly. But I'm probably gonna do a Street Fighter stream tomorrow night, but I also want to do an Invincible one. And then the next Hunter x Hunter one, bro, I wanted to do one talking about Gon and Killua's talent, but I don't want to spoil too much of my next video, and they would like have some overlapping points. So I'm still thinking about what the next Hunter x Hunter stream will be. Oh, okay. Galgog said, can you have a side channel for gaming? I could do that, but that would be kind of hard. I like just having one channel. Alright. But alright, guys. I need to hit the sheets. I am extremely tired. But thank you everybody for tuning into this live stream. Let me know, what do you guys think? Have you guys been liking these power scaling live streams? What do you think of them? Are they an enjoyable experience? Are you guys liking these power scaling streams? Because I like doing them. They're pretty fun. And I think it's a nice way to just like give you guys more content without me having to edit a bunch of stuff. So like instead of just getting like one video a month or like one a week, it's like you get multiple. Hopefully you guys enjoy these. But all right, guys. I am about to hit the sheets. I'm very tired. But thank you guys all for hopping in the stream. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for all of your comments. Any comments that I missed, I'm sorry if I missed them. I know I missed a bunch. Oh wait, I see one from Anime Monarch. He said, if Hunter x Hunter progress like I believe, then Netero will be fodder by the end of the series. Meruem, a guy who blitzed Netero, is only B-ranked beast, and when they get to the Dark Continent, they will be fighting A and potentially S-ranked beasts, meaning the main cast will be able to beat blitzed Netheril multiple times over by end of series. I also agree with that. It seems like the Dark Continent, the purpose of it is for like the whole main cast to surpass Netheril. That's like a big underlying like theme in the mission. Like they all have to surpass Netheril, even like Kurapika. And with like the Dark Continent ingredients, that's very possible. But alright guys, I am going to sleep. Oh, and honestly, the other thing is like some of the Zodiac might already be stronger than him, like Jing and stuff. But anyways, I need to go to sleep, guys. Thank you all for tuning into the stream. And, oh wait, one last comment I will read. Clementine said, off topic, but the very positive disclaimer you put near the beginning of your videos are very much appreciated. Well, dude, I'm happy that you appreciate them, man. I'll definitely keep doing them. I like doing those. I like doing those because I think everyone needs a reminder every now and then. Like, it's important to focus on like dreams and goals and stuff, and just like keep making progress towards those. It's what makes life more enjoyable. I learned that from One Piece. That is low-key my favorite manga, because that whole manga is about people just pursuing their dreams. And like an underlying theme in One Piece is like the characters who have the biggest dreams have like the most impactful lives. And like I remember like realizing that as a little kid. Like when I was reading One Piece as a little kid, I realized that. I'm like, oh, like, bro, so this is some background Lilo lore. Like One Piece is actually the first like one of my earliest memories in life was me being like 5 or 6 years old, just sitting at my grandma's house watching One Piece. And I remember it like vividly. It was Arlong Park, Luffy just axe kicking Arlong through a building. And I also had like the PlayStation 2 One Piece video game, One Piece, I think it was One Piece Grand Battle or One Piece Grand Adventure, and it was like a arena fighter for One Piece characters on the PS2. And on the menu screen, they had something in the settings where it was like, you could look at the bio information of all of the Straw Hats, and it said like the things they liked, the things they disliked, and what their dream was for each character. And I remember reading like each character's dream, and I was like, huh, I wonder what my dream is, you know? I remember thinking that as like a little kid. I'm like, oh, what's my dream actually? And like that like stuck with me. And like as I read One Piece, I would always pay attention to the dreams of each character. And it's an underlying theme in One Piece that like dreams are like directly correlated to power and achievements in One Piece. I can make a whole video on that, and I might someday. Honestly, hey, maybe that'll be tomorrow's live stream, just talking about that. I love One Piece deeply. I could yap about it forever, but like, that's even like part of the power system, literally. Like, Conqueror's Haki, like, people can't develop, like, only certain people are born with it, and only certain people are born with like giant dreams and stuff. It's like, it connects. It's very interesting stuff. Galgog said, where can I find a link to the Discord? Here, hold up. I'll just put it right here. I will put it in the chat right now. Copying the link. Here, I will put it in the chat. Just double checking that this is the correct one. Okay, yeah. I will put this is the Discord link right here. That's the Discord link to the group Discord. And in there, we have like power scaling debates. And I want to put together like teams for playing video games on live streams. Like I want it, bro, like real talk. Like, I watch like some of my favorite YouTubers are RDC and Tony Stadavoci. And I like how they just have a squad of bros to just stream video games with. So like that's something I'm trying to develop too. That's why like me and my friend Lenny were talking about like doing a Street Fighter 6 series. But I'd like to like stream a few like team games like Monster Hunter. I'd also want to stream Pal World, Marvel Rivals, just a few like fun team games. And then also Street Fighter. Crawler said Food Wars power scaling goes crazy. Bro, if you want to know a series where the power scaling is actually bonkers, it's Toriko. The manga Toriko is insane. The author got himself in trouble doing some stupid stuff, and like the manga got ended early, and it was very sad. Because I remember, bro, I remember reading that joint when I was like 17. and I loved that manga so much. And I remember like when the manga ended and I found out the dude was like involved in some like bad stuff, I was so sad. And it still makes me sad to think about it now, but like the manga was peak, bro. Like Toriko, dude, the manga of Toriko is 10 trillion times better than the anime. I can't even watch the anime. It's like disgusting to look at because they censored it horrendously. Like the best way I can describe Toriko is it's a fusion of One Piece and Baki. Like every single fight in Toriko is like a river of blood, like an ocean of blood every fight, and they become literal like Buu Saga level Dragon Ball Z characters at the end. Like in the final, like let me power skill some Toriko for you real quick off the dome, because this used to be one of my favorite series. Like the fights are crazy. Toriko has a power level system to it, and the world is very similar to the Hunter x Hunter world. They have a normal human world that's small, and then they have a dark continent, which is like many times bigger than the actual world. This is straight up in Toriko. It's exactly like Hunter x Hunter. They have a normal world and a dark continent, but the dark continent is called something like the Hunter Zone, something like that. There's a lot of parallels between Toriko and Hunter x Hunter, and like when you get into like the real world, the only people who can go there are people that are above level 100. And something that's stated is that if you are a level 100, you're strong enough to destroy the entire Earth. Now, the normal human world is the size of the Earth. The rest of the world is like the size of Jupiter. So like the Toriko planet is like a Jupiter class planet, which is like 40 times bigger than Earth, something like that. And the only people who can even go out and explore like outside of the human zone are like level 100s and up. And then they have a like Toriko, the first like 200 chapters before the time skip, it's just Toriko starting at like level 20 and grinding his way up to level 100, like mission after mission, getting stronger. And then he reaches like level 90, and he tries to go outside early and immediately just gets one shot by like countless beasts. Like he just gets thrown around by like huge monster after huge monster. He's using like his strongest attack. It barely even like scratches them. And it's crazy because it was like he used his strongest attack the arc before and it was one-shotting people. He goes out here thinking he could do it and it does nothing. Like it's crazy. Then he has to get saved. But then he goes on a time skip. And when he comes back, he has this scene where like he's surrounded by a horde of like level 300 beasts. And he just like looks at them and they all run away. And then he looks back at like the camera. He's like, yeah, I'm so strong now. You need to be at least level 500 or you can't even fight me. Like you literally can't fight him unless you can destroy 5 planets. And that's just how the time skip starts, bro. Like, and they just get stronger and stronger, bro. It's nuts. But by the end of Toriko, bro, every attack they do is like Jupiter class. Like they can destroy stars and stuff. It's nuts. Anyways, that's enough yapping. I really do need to go to sleep. But I would love to do a Toriko live stream someday, bro. Like, I just think no one would watch that joint, but that is low key one of my favorite mangas. The power scaling in that one is so sick, bro. Anyways, I do have to sleep. But thank you all for the stream. I don't even know how I started yapping like that. Anyways, I will see you guys later. This is what happens when I stream too tired. I'll just yap. But thank you everybody for the views, and you guys have a great night.